Hello everyone and welcome to Tailored Acres. I am Taylor and I am a home gardener in Wisconsin Zone 4B. And it is super bright out. It's another bluebird day. Check that out. We haven't had rain here for quite a while, but anyway, so today I'm going to be cleaning out my vegetable garden and planting a cover crop. So I'll give you a peek over here. So we had a killing frost a few days ago, so everything's looking pretty sad here. So I do have my fabric out still, which I'm going to be pulling some of that up to plant this cover crop, which I'll talk more about in a second here. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of the state of where we're at here. So I'm going to be cleaning this out today, and that will be step one. So this year, for the first time, I'm going to try cover crop. And I have decided on winter rye, and there's a few reasons for that on benefits of winter rye here. What are you doing? I must have sat in something good here. And I'll go over those with you here in a minute. So the first reason that I selected winter rye for my cover crop is that you can plant it in the fall and it will be done by about May, when I will be planting my warm season crops. So at that point, it will get terminated and it will have kept the soil good from like erosion control. It makes sure that nothing else grows there. The winter rye does have some like herbicidal properties to it, so it doesn't really let anything else germinate while it's growing either, which is a huge benefit, especially if you get those big spring blooms of weeds in your garden like I get in mine. Another huge benefit of the winter rye is that when you terminate it, how I'm going to do it is just like cut it up. You can also crimp it, but that adds a lot of organic matter on top, which can also add or act as like a green mulch as well. So it has so many benefits to it that it's definitely worth giving it a try. So next we'll talk about planting the winter rye, and the timing of it is more ideal in September, but we are in mid-October here just because of the way things worked out. We went on a 2-week European vacation, so no regrets there. We're still going to give it a try to plant it this late in the year. And maybe next year I'll be more on top of my game to get it planted earlier, but also this is when my crops died. So I don't really want to be planting it earlier than when my crops are ready to harvest and done growing. So the seeding rate that I'm going to try to use is 2 to 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So I know the dimensions of my garden, and I'm going to try to measure out the weight of my seed and try to spread it evenly from there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of toss it out and hope for the best, which is not my normal MO, but that's okay. We'll give it a try this year that way. And then I'm going to put compost on top of it so that I'm like covering it a little bit and protecting that seed until it germinates. You can also broadcast seed and then rake the seed in to cover it up, or you can also just cover it normally how you would just poke your seeds in. You can also drill the seed in if you have a seed driller as well. And then the last step here, there's a bee, is going to be to water the seed and keep it somewhat well watered, and at least until it germinates, and a little bit after that too. We've had no rain here for so long that I'm going to make sure that it's well watered. I do expect germination in 5 to 10 days, so I will be watching for that closely. It's going to be exciting to see the little bit of green popping through the brown garden again. So once it has germinated, it will grow a little bit, but not too much this fall. And it will stay green over winter, and then in spring it will take off with growth again. So then next spring it is going to continue to grow into big stalks, and in May, I'm hoping that this timing works out, it will start to form the seed heads and start releasing its pollen. So once it does that, you can cut it and it won't regrow because it's putting all that energy into making seed, and it won't regrow at that point. So that is when I plan to terminate it, which will be dictated by nature. So I won't have that much control over that. So I'm only planting this in areas where I have warm season crops. So stuff that I plant in June, like peppers, tomatoes, let's see, flowers. What else do I got? Pumpkins, and beans. Those areas are where I'm going to plant this. I'm not going to plant it in areas that I plant carrots or onions or brassicas. Trying to look out what else do I have here, or peas. Those things are cool season crops, and the winter rye will not be ready to be terminated at that point. If you do cut the winter rye too early, it will just regrow. So it could be hard to get rid of if you're not terminating it at the right time. So that is an important thing to note here, to plant it in the right areas and not where you need that soil early for cool season crops. Okay, so we're finally ready to get started, and I am going to zoom through my winter or my fall cleanup of the garden. I am actually going to burn all of my squash vines this year. I had squash bugs really bad, and I saw somewhere, and I think maybe it was my husband that told me that I should try burning them to try to eliminate any extras. I don't think they overwinter on the vine, so I'm not a big believer in that that's going to make a difference, but it's worth a shot because they were crazy this fall. One last thing to note is that you'll see me just snipping off the plants. I do leave my roots in the ground because I am practicing a no-till garden method here, and part of that is the cover crop now, which will be my first year doing that, and it's been somewhat of a transition to that no-till, just because my garden is somewhat new still and building the soil and all of that. So you'll see me just snipping them off, and I do leave the roots in there to break down because they got a good thing going on with the soil right now. I kind of forgot about this. So if you've been following along on my social media, you would have seen that I tried a late season crop of potatoes. So I am excited. Let's try to see what we got here, if anything. Oh man, might have to dump it out. Okay, I'll be right back. Would you look at that? We actually got some. They're pretty small, but I mean, they are baby reds, so it's not like they get that big. So this definitely did work. I think it was like in August when I did this. So, and these were planted just from ones that had sprouted from the grocery store, but we do buy organic potatoes, so there's not as many chemicals on them to begin with. So that's pretty cool. So that's good to know for next year. I'm definitely gonna harvest my potatoes at the right time and then get them replanted right away. Okay, side note. All right, back to business. So I have my whole area prepped now that I'm going to do, at least for this video today, when I have time here. So this area right here, this was where the carrots were that I got out, which some of those are just gigantic. Last year I did leave them in the ground over winter, and most of them were still good in the spring, which was cool. But I'm just getting them all out. I'm going to dice them up and put them in the freezer to use in recipes this winter. So all of this is going to get seed, and even the walkways, because the erosion control and weed suppression is something I want in this entire area. Now that I took the ground cover up, it's going to need that. So this area though has mulch from just like straight from our lawnmower, and that works great for weed suppression. So I'm not sure if the wheat will grow through that or not, but I guess we'll find out. So I'm going to try to get it embedded in there a little bit. And yeah, seeding is next. So here is what the grain looks like. Whoop, dropping some already. And I got a big bulk bag, as you saw earlier, from Johnny's. It was the kind of the most economical place I could find it from. But if you have a farmer friend, you can definitely get it from them. They very likely use this on their fields as well. So I think what I'm going to do is start in my rows here. And these ones, I'm not going to worry about too much getting them covered because there is a little bit of coverage here already. As in cover over the seed. Although I can still see them pretty well here. And in the aisles, I am going to rake it in because that soil is pretty well compacted. And I don't want all the birds just to eat all the seed that I bought. So again, you can use that, use some math to find out your area and the pounds that you should be spreading. I'm just kind of winging it because that's what I feel like today. So there we go. That's our first row done. Oh, I got some mushrooms over here. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to do, sorry if that was loud. I'm going to do this row here, or this aisle. And I'm going to go get my rake. And I actually just bought a tiny little rake from Aldi. It's like a collapsible one. It's metal though. I think that'll be perfect for this. And then after that, I'm going to go get the sprinkler to get that all set up. Because it's a nice warm day. Might as well get it going right away. Here is that little rake I got from Aldi. And it collapses, so just going to like that. So I think I'm actually going to do more like this and kind of pick your size. All right, so then I'm just going to rake some of this in. I'm just going to kind of disturb some of this to get that seed down in there because I can see it kind of sticking on top of that lawnmower mulch, I guess. And you definitely can add compost now, which is what my plan was, but apparently I had used it all this year already. I forgot. Or you can compost in the spring. So it is bringing a little bit down with it, but I don't think there's really any way around that. And above me here in the arch, I'm going to be planting my garlic again. So I have green beans that were growing there right now. They got zapped by the frost too. They were the dragon tongue from Baker's Creek, and they did awesome. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'll do it to the other two sides, and then we'll get the sprinkler set up. All right, I got the sprinkler set up, and I'm going to let this run for quite a while, and then I'll probably run it like every other day, maybe once per day until I see germination, and then I'll just make sure that it doesn't dry out too much. Ooh, gotta move. And I will do some updates on my social media about when this germinates and how it's going over winter and stuff. So now I just gotta get the rest of the garden done. It actually is kind of hot out. I'm all sweaty. Thanks for joining today. Thanks for coming along on this adventure with me. I'm hoping this is a great practice that I'll be doing for years. So if you have experience with this, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I am all about learning from each other, and I love it when you guys share with me and with everyone else that looks at the comments. So if you have any experience with this, give us some tips and hints and how it worked out for you. All right, take care.